So now that 2023 has ended, 2024 is upon us, and with that, a lot of people are trying to come up with New Year's resolutions for themselves. And hopefully by the end of this video, you know how to not only come up with a good New Year's resolution for yourself, but also how to stick with it. So first, a little background. I'm 21 years old, and by no means am I wise beyond my years or have a lot of life experience. I'm just an ordinary guy. But sometimes I think a younger perspective, a fresh perspective, can help a lot with these kind of processes. So first off, because everyone is their own person, everyone will have their own New Year's resolutions. So this video is not designed to tell you that these are the top 15 New Year's resolutions that you should follow, but rather I think it's a good process on how to streamline your thinking so that you can come up with a good New Year's resolution for yourself. So first thing, when determining a New Year's resolution, have to think back to the previous year and think about things that maybe you didn't do as good as you had hoped, or something that you never got around to doing. For example, as a college student, and this is pretty minor, one of the things that I wasn't doing nearly enough during the past year was sleeping. And so, going into 2024, I want to make sure I get my full 8 hours of sleep because that's important for a healthy mind, body, and spirit. So once you've identified something that you wish to pick up in the new year, whether it's, changing a bad habit into a good habit, or just starting a good habit, or quitting a bad habit entirely, what are the steps that you can take to achieve that goal fully in the end? So a lot of times people have an end goal, which sounds great, but by the time, say, the end of January comes around, a lot of people aren't putting it as a priority like they did in the beginning of the year. Because life happens to us and we become busy, we have jobs, we have work, we have school. It's something that no longer is at the forefront of our mind. And because of that, we let it slip into becoming something more secondary, and soon enough, it's something that we forget about completely. And so how do you actually stick with something that naturally, because life happens, will fade over time? And my solution to you is you just have to break it down into smaller goals for yourself. So for example, in my case, I simply just want to sleep more because it is a healthy habit that I wish to pick up. Now, in the beginning, I could tell myself, I'm gonna, get to sleep at 11 p.m. every night and wake up at 7 a.m. so that way I can get up bright and early while also getting my full 8 hours of sleep. So sure, I do recognize that in the first week or two, I do have the mental fortitude to be able to do that. But say once midterms come around, or I have to stay up late doing a paper, next thing you know, I'm going to sleep at 1 or 2 in the morning, and how do I reconcile that with my New Year's resolution? However, if we take our larger goal and break it down into smaller steps, it is something that we can achieve for ourselves long term. And so for my example, with my goal of trying to sleep a full 8 hours every night, although it may seem trivial, the same process can be applied to much larger and much more life-changing New Year's resolutions as well. So if I were to break down my long-term goal into smaller goals, you first need to think about what is realistic for you. So for me, I recognize that Wednesdays are my busiest days. And so maybe going to sleep at a reasonable time on Wednesday is not as easy as it is on, say, a Sunday night when I have the whole day free and then I can, relax in the evening and go to sleep at a reasonable time. So starting out, telling myself that on Sundays, I will go to sleep at a reasonable time because I know that I can achieve this, because it is a goal that I know that I can reach. It allows me to hit that goal more consistently than if I were to create a lofty goal that I probably will falter on within a month or so. And then once I create a good habit of, achieving this smaller goal, that's when I add another layer to it. I say, okay, now let's say Sunday and Thursday, I'm going to sleep at a reasonable time. And this is all about healthy habit creation and how to get rid of bad habits. You have to start small. You have to start with something that is attainable. And this process is not something that just goes for going to sleep at a reasonable time. It's for any New Year's resolution, and by extension, really any goal setting at all. It's a process of actually achieving what one actually sets out to do. So say, for example, my New Year's resolution is to hit the gym all day, or not all day, 365 days a year. It's a pretty daunting task, especially say if you're a newbie and haven't even been to the gym before. So if I just employ the same process of, breaking it down into smaller goals, I would tell myself, okay, starting out, I'm gonna go 3 days a week. And then from there, I can add more days as needed, perhaps prolong my workouts, because in the beginning, consistency is vital in creating a good habit or breaking a bad habit. Because once we integrate our New Year's resolution as, rather than something that we're just starting and then leaving at the end of the month, but rather something that we're integrating into our weekly, daily, monthly, or yearly routine, that's how it becomes not just a resolution, but something that's just part of our identity. And so besides, breaking down a larger goal into smaller goals, what are other ways that we can ascertain that we, transform our New Year's resolutions into something that we actually carry throughout our daily lives? And to that, the answer is rather simple, but of course in practice is much more difficult, and that is we must keep ourselves accountable. In the beginning, it's good perhaps to have a family member or friend keep you accountable for your New Year's resolution or your goals, but in the end, it's ultimately up to you to tell yourself that I have to do this. It's up to you to tell yourself that this is not something that I can maybe do, but something that I must do. And when we are able to do that, that's when we're able to transform it from resolution to part of our daily lives, part of our identity. And so with that, I hope that my advice as a 21-year-old allows you to streamline your decision-making of creating a New Year's resolution, and you also learn how to stick with it. Thank you.